Good morning, everyone. Today is the 20th of September. It's Wednesday morning. Hope you're having a good week so far. I'm continuing to read through the Doctrine Election by Arthur W. Pink. We're ready today for continuing in Chapter 9. It's ready for Part 3. If you're interested in obtaining a copy of this book, you can go to greatchristianbooks.com.
How this solemn act should affect our hearts. Turn your eyes to your upon the world today. Look where you will. What do you behold? Are you not compelled to say of this present generation? In all nations alike, God has left them to walk in their own way. Must we not mournfully conclude of the men and women of this age, the whole world lieth in wickedness? John 5:19. Scarce number that are of God are indeed fittingly sown, small handful of gleanings in comparison. The whole great crop of mankind. Let not be forgotten that which appears now before our eyes, but the actualization of that which was ordained. In eternity, there is not appointed seated God on the throne of the universe. He has his way in the whirlwind and restore. Now that 1:3, again we say how deeply it is startling contrast affects our hearts. Few to be singly forced and saved, a multitude, yea, a generality of others expected to perish. How does it heighten the mercy of salvation to us? For God is in his providence, order many outward means to deliver a few, that you deny to others who perish. How does this affect the persons that are preserved? How much more when it is so great a salvation? How much good one much superior from what were types and mere shadows of it in Old Testament times. In the case of one small family of Noah being spared universal deluge, so too by example Lot, pulled out of Sodom by the hand of angels, why the Lord be merciful to him, says Genesis 19:16. Mark what a deep sense of and value upon Lot had of the same. Behold, now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy which thou hast showed unto me, and saved my life. 19:19. There is this further to be considered, or being delivered from the condition of like wretches and wrath as pertains to not elect, which held not in the cases mentioned above. Noah was just man, perfect in the generation. Genesis 6:9, Lot was righteous and vexed with filthy condensate the wicked. 2 Peter 2:7-8. They were not guilty of those awful sins which God sent with blood and fire upon their fellows. When we ordained salvation, we lay before God in a like condition of corruption and guilt as all mankind are in. It's only sovereign decree, sovereign God, which purposed our being brought out in a state of sin and wrath into a state of grace and righteousness. How stupendous then was the mercy of God unto us, in making this difference, 1 Corinthians 4:7, between those in whom there was no difference, Romans 3:22. And what love, what wholehearted obedience, praise renewed unto him. Words of blessedness of his doctrine appears in that a true apprehension thereof is great promoter of holiness, according to the divine purpose to elect, destined to a holy calling, 2 Timothy 1:9. Accomplishment of that purpose actually and effectually brought the holy. God separates them from the ungodly world. He writes upon their hearts His laws, fixes them to His soul, to His seal. They are made partakers of the divine nature, being renewed in the image of Him who created them. They are an habitation of God, their bodies becoming the temple of the Holy Spirit. They are led by Him. Glorious change is thus wrought in men, transforming their character and conduct. He washed their robes to make them white in the blood of the Lamb. To them old things have passed away, and all things become new. Forgetting the things which are behind, they press forward to the things which are before. They are kings and priests unto God, and shall yet be adorned with crowns of glory. There are those who in their ignorance say that the doctrine of election is licentious one, and believe that it is calculated to produce carelessness and a sense of security in sin, such a charge of blasphemous reflection upon divine offer of this truth, as we have shown at length, occupies the promised place, the Word of God. That Word is holy, the whole of it profitable for instruction, righteousness, 2 Timothy 3:16. Apostles was and all believed and taught this doctrine. They were promoters of piety and not encouragers of loose living. It's true that this doctrine, like every other scripture, may be perverted by wicked men and slipped with evil use. So far as militated against the truth, it only serves to illustrate the fearful extent of human depravity. We also grant that ungenerate men may intellectually espouse this doctrine and settle down to fatalistic inertia. We emphatically deny that heart deception thereof will produce any such effect that faith, obedience, holiness, or inseparable consequences of truth's election of mistaken clear from Scripture. Text 13:4, 8, Ephesians 1:4, 1 Thessalonians 4, 1 Thessalonians 1:4-7, Titus 1:1. Fully set forth by us in previous chapters. How can it be otherwise? Election always involves regeneration, sanctification, and when a regenerated and sanctified soul discovers that he owes his spiritual renewal solely to the sovereign predestination of God, how can he but be truly grateful and deeply thankful? And what other way can he express his gratitude in the holy course of fruitful obedience, apprehension, the everlasting love of God for him will of necessity awaken in him the response of love of God wherever that exists. There will be a sincere effort to please him in all things. The fact is that a spiritual sense of distinguishing grace of God is the most powerful restraining motive unto genuine godliness. Were we to enter into detail upon the principal elements of holiness, this chapter would be extended indefinitely. A due consideration of the fact that there was nothing in us which moved God to fix his heart upon us, and he saw us as ruined and hell-deserving creatures will humble our souls as nothing else will. Spiritual realization of all our concerns are entirely at the disposal of God will work in us a submission to his sovereign will as nothing else can. Believing perception that God set his heart upon us for everlasting, choosing us to be his procured treasure. Work in us contempt of the world, the knowledge of that fellow hyphen Christians are elected to love to God, with both love and kindness unto them. Assurance that God's eternal purpose, immutable and guaranteed supply of our every need, heart, soul, and comfort in every trial and trial. And proposition.
Thank you, Mark, for doing that. Well, good Lord being in the matter, we'll see you tomorrow, Thursday. Have a good day.